Today we talk about the power of love. And even the mere thought of doing this talk today has already just made me nauseous, a little bit negative, a little bit, do I have to go here? Because I guess there's this pessimism that lies inside of me and many of the collective when it comes to love. Why is it easier to talk about money? Why has it been easier to talk about life purpose and swear words and the blueprint content produced at an earlier date now available for you to watch? Why would I rather talk about them when I could talk about love? Ew, love? Really? Is this going to be a soppy, sentimental 20 minutes about romance, intimacy? No, it's not. Because today I think it's nice if we can actually ground love into something objective. Because as we always dive into the subjective and objective realities over here, we know that love is always positioned subjectively. So what is the objective stance of love today, and why is it so important that we frame it in the first 2 minutes of the conversation? Well, we start by saying love is a frequency, love is a vibration, love is energy. And in polarity to the vibration of love, there's a vibration of hate. So immediately we open up the airways to an inner knowing that we would rather be in a loving vibration and around people that love us than be around energy that is hateful and dark, evil and venomous, because there's polarity here. The main thing I want to address today, and I think it's the best way to frame ideologies of love and the power of love today, is that exact scope. There is a lot of hate in the world. There is a lot of hate in our hearts, in our chakras, in our body language, in our communication style, all over the internet, all over the media, all over the place. None of us are 100% loving all the time, and hopefully none of us are 100% hateful all the time. But they are the polarities on the spectrum we address today from that subjective and objective stance. And it is easier to say, oh, I love you so much. I'm in love. I want to be in love. I want to get married. I want to settle down. I want to find my soulmate. I think that's my twin flame. I am the divine feminine. I need my divine masculine. That person is a karmic. I need love. I want love. Love is the greatest thing of all. It's cute. But it's not always in line with the objective reality of hate. Because hate is also on the objective side of the spectrum, and that is filled with, can't fucking stand that person, I hate that app, I hate that job, I hate that I have no money, I hate that ex of mine, I hate my baby mother or my baby father, I hate the way that I got treated in that relationship, I hate being single. Frequency, vibration, energy, mood, matter, emotion. And it isn't always the nicest, smoothest one. So what I'll share today is the key scope and takeaway from not only James von Prague's book, The Power of Love, or is it Eckhart Tolle's book on The Power of Now, and all of Dr. Brian Weiss' work in psychiatry from Many Lives, Many Masters and Only Love is Real, along with what other books I have on the shelf that are labelled by him, because there are also more than that. But I can't see them all. Also, books like, Many Lives, Many Masters, Same Souls, Same Bodies. And all the works from Louise Hay, Richard Clear and his book, The Atomic Habits. And actually, why not the bestseller Untamed? Really nice scope in that book as well. Really nice sections to read in a short space of time that are quite enlightening and give you scope on life and consciousness from a style of book that I don't often read much or enough of. But moving on, there's a lot out there. A lot of people promoting love. Everyone from the spiritualist field will scream love is the highest frequency of all, focus on love. But there are so many things that take us away from the love vibration. A lot more things in the day-to-day reality, when it's not you in Zen, not you meditating, not you in yoga pose, I can't even say it because I'm going to say it wrong. But no cat-cow, no downward dog here. Vinasana I wanted to say, but I can barely get the word out. But all of these gorgeous poses we can't do in the middle of the street, in the middle of the meeting. We can't do it in the office space. We can't do it on the plane. Can't do it in the middle of the airport. Can't do it at the traffic light. So we have to keep going and find new innovative ways to still bring love into our reality. And that's why it's important today, and a grounding agent in our conversation today. We're trying to drag that love to the objective stance. And then drag that hate down to the subjective stance as well. Because hate is quite frequently the objective vibration. I hate that, I hate them. That's an outward expression. The internalized hate is something that not many people acknowledge. Self-hate isn't something that we've ever internalized well enough, unless you're a deep spiritualist who desires to master shadow, and then you absolutely fucking hate yourself for a really long time. And you work on that for a really long time too, and then you master self-love, and then still you're burdened by the reality that hate is never far, internally or externally. And it's the awakening to the trauma inside self is what I will say as well, if we're being honest on that note. Because I will say that there's a window of time in life, maybe 2019 if I'm honest, that I really started to understand, even though I started doing my spiritual chakra work from 16 and I started the philosophy in 16, from 2019 was the real window of time when I was getting my confidence and I could understand where I was lacking confidence in the solar plexus, and that is where it started to reveal my self-hate. All the areas that I was lacking confidence in were all the areas that were previously masked as I'm okay and I'm confident, but they were actually deep-rooted areas of self-hatred. Things about myself I didn't like, things about myself that I absolutely despised, to be honest. And that started to show up in relationships, in friendship groups, and that was something I was working on personally, but it was starting to show up, and I was more and more humiliated with self because I can't believe that I was having reoccurring awakenings of the side of me that I was really, I want to say, disenfranchised by. Yeah? If we're talking about decentralization in a posh and nerdy way, then why not use that? But it's a situation of internally, I'm dissatisfied with the awakening of my incompletion. And you're not only hating parts of yourself in childhood that are now looking at you to be healed because they've just come to the conscious, but you're also looking at parts of yourself that in the now moment are crippling, debilitating, making you more aware of who you are and why you're here, and it creates ripples and tides across all of your chakras, and your sacral and solar plexus and your root chakra are really ungrounded during that window of time, and that is something that you're holding together the best you can. You're probably using it out of your aura every given moment through body language, but then also you're mirroring and projecting that onto other people around you at the same time, because you're still trying to work through the hokey cokey of selfhood and identity. And the awareness that there's parts of you that you don't actually like about yourself were way better in the unconscious that Carl Jung speaks about, the part of you that you don't see or know to exist, right? So when you do know that that is a real thing, it's like, fuck, I have to work on it. This is where most people fall off the journey. Most people would have never got this far on the journey as well. They would have never desired to look there. And that's what we see, and that's the people I call muggles most of the time. The ones that have never looked past their own physical existence in line with the rest of humanity's status quo to even desire to evolve, right? The ones that look in the mirror and then look away, look in the mirror and just they talk to themselves like, God, I'm so fat, God, I'm so ugly, God, I hate my hair, God, I wish I didn't look like this, and then walk away with no awareness of how debilitating that is to their soul. Whereas there's others of us that actually dedicate time to mirror work and stare in the mirror and say, I am loving, I am beautiful, I am grace. All of me is me and all of me is enough, right? That's the polarities of love and light and dark and shade. Yeah? And the most telling attribute to selfhood and identity that I would say has guided me on the journey from the scientific side to the spiritual side in pursuit of love today, as the focal point of the conversation, will have to be the ideology that like attracts like. Only in 2024 have I started to say that toxic attracts toxic, negative attracts negative, liar attracts liar, bullshit attracts bullshit, waste man attracts waste gal, dickhead attracts dickhead, thief, fraud, liar, snake, dishonest, prick. They can all be attracted when our vibrations are at that vibration. It doesn't mean we are those things, but it means that some part of our vibration was either skewed to the subjective or objective narrative of that, alignment to that, which then made us prey, victim, or predator to that opposing vibration. That alignment, or so perfectly unaligned moment that we became one and synergized with the other in a negative way. I got robbed for all of my money because I was oozing naivety and imbecile at the time, and I fell straight into the predator's trap, right? Some way or shape or form, like attract like. Or the opposite ends of the vibration in that moment aligned enough for you to become synergized. Yeah? What kind of women do African men looking for a visa target? I'll say that again, pop quiz. Tell me in the comments. What kind of women do African men looking for a visa target? Perfect example. Same for the Jamaican man. If the Jamaican is looking for a visa, what kind of person will they target? In those instances, we wouldn't outrightly say like attracts like, but vibration is real. And if somebody is oozing, I want to be loved, I want to feel special, and another person is oozing, I need to make them feel loved, I need to make them feel special, because in that way I will be able to receive an ulterior motive, an ulterior outcome, because there is the front facing vibration, the external energy, what we see every day face to face. Then there is the internalized auric field, another layer of existence, the true self. We can run through the Carl Jung's ideology of consciousness, unconsciousness, and the collective conscious. Layers within the human, within the aura, within the force field. We give off what we want to get back. And some of us can give off needy bunny boiler. Some of us can give off desperate and lonely. True. Harsh but true. If you've been there, you would know. We can speak from truth, right? And I say that to women all around the world in a pursuit of empowerment, because it's every single woman out there as at some point in their life or journey can go, what an idiot I was. I was so needy in that relation. I was so clingy in that relationship. I was so this, I was so that, right? Which is probably not always the best way to go in relation to self-talk and beating ourselves down, but if we're reflecting on it in a positive way and we see the difference in our growth, then it's a positive, all right? Because we do want positive self-talk and not negative, but it is important to acknowledge where we've been and what we've been through. Because when I really started to understand my self-hate vibration, which was, I wasn't hating on myself, I was really quite positive actually in 2019, but I started looking at how I held myself in relationships, how I dated, how I gave off love, what I was overgiving, the level of which you overgive in a relationship and what you're willing to settle for and accept, what you're willing to put up with is a true testament to how much you love you. Because if you're willing to sacrifice all of you and put up with all of this stuff that is not healthy for you, then it shows that you surely can't love yourself enough if you are willing to stay in that. Where are your values? Where are your morals? Where is your integrity? Where are your standards? Where is your respect for self? And that's when you evolve. That's when you wake up, and that's when you start to formalize stronger bonds and healthier relationships. And that's when your standards increase. I've watched my standards repeatedly increase in line with my self-worth and my self-love and my dedication to me and my commitment to loving me. And that's the reward here, guys. The reward is if I truly love me, then I'm going to be able to attract that same vibration back to me. I don't need to go out there and seek it. I don't need to date or search for it. I don't need to ask or question. I don't need to dive into the quantum to find the answers here. Because a lot of us are quantum whisperers. Us FBI men and women, catfish, stalking motherfuckers out there, hunting the internet down for the guy they dated. Or the guy that they're dating, or their relationship problems spreading out across the networks in terror and awful stories. If you've watched Tammy Roman's show on MTV, which is Caught in the Act, now on season 3, recommendation 1. Recommendation 2 is every single season of Catfish that has ever been out ever. Another great example of people desiring love and being given loads of red flags, but they still end up in the shitter. And the other one is Help, or I'm in a secret relationship. All on MTV, all reality shows, all prime examples of life where like attracts like, toxic attracts toxic, desperation attracts desperation. But desperation exists on a skewed perspective, on a subjective and objective scale. Because if we pull on the desperation thread, someone is desperate for money. Someone is desperate for love and attention. That's an equal trade-off. Catfish, yeah? Send me all the money you've got right now. But through Cash App, may I add. And then hold on, but the name on the Cash App says Solomon Grundy. And you're actually dating Diana. You didn't think that was weird when it showed up and said that was Solomon's account? Oh, Diana said that Solomon is her granddad. Okay, desperation. You wanted to believe that. And Solomon was so desperate that he was willing to reveal his real name to get that money, even though he's been acting like Diana for the last 4 years online. And then there's a strength of love in the vibration because the belief disintegrates that there's anyone out there that's actually pure and fucking genuine, right? But that's why I didn't want to do this today, because I didn't want to go down a negative route, because I do love love and I do believe in the sentiment of love. But there is still this air of pessimism in the collective, in the community, and I guess not so much in me. I guess it's dying. I can't deny that I have doubt in humanity? I always use humanity in such a lucid way that maybe it's probably not the best word, but I guess it's the idea and the sentiment and the subjectivity that we put around love. I'm no longer misconstrued or lucid or wearing rose-tinted glasses about what that love should present as and show up as and feel. And I'm no longer fearful of receiving it or not receiving it or being heartbroken by it. And I'm no longer internalizing it as an objective other and a solidified permanent fixture. Not that I'm not desiring a committed relationship, but more importantly, the ethereal vibration of love is something so much more manageable that I can actually hold than a solidified construct of love. And that's the way we leave, I think. Did you hear that? How profound was that? Tell me all about it in the comments. Ethereal love is a lot easier to grasp and hold on to than solidified constructs of love. Because when you frame love in a really rigid, solidified stance, and that doesn't mean marriage or certificate or a committed relationship. That's not the solidified construct I'm even speaking about. I'm talking about the idols we create in our mind, the mantles we create in our mind, the desire to give off a specific impression to the family and friends and to the others on social media, the lies and the solidified presentation of glory that we feed the rest of the world about excellence and love. Yeah, the falsetto of our story, our truth, versus just a load of keys playing out a gorgeous low-fi melody. The ripples of space and time, the waves and crashing of the ocean, the tide, the seas, the sun, the moon, the day, the wind, the tree gushing in the breeze. The fluidity of everyone existing in the now moment and loving freely from a pure place of happiness and contentment without the controls. I will say I understand ideologies of polyamory, okay? Because I've just seen today Neo celebrating, he's just brought another woman into the bedroom. He's now on number 3. Neo was married and very unhappy. He left his wife, got a divorce, and now he has 3 women, and he's really, really happy. And it's the first of its kind, really, in the westernized front line, in the public media, through like TMZ and blogs, and he's the main one. He's set precedent publicly for this to be a normal way of life. And I've got to say, I'm proud. I'm proud of him. I believe in commitment and one man, one woman. I do believe in that. But I do value other people who have different beliefs and pave a way for that. And I think it's really, really beautiful to see him come forward and say, being married's not for me. Being with one woman's not for me. Hell yes. Because you were going to cheat otherwise. You was going to be unfaithful otherwise. You was going to be trapped in a solidified construct of love that doesn't really resonate with your soul and your true love language. And you've been brave enough to step out of that mold and own your own truth. Because people like you only exist in third world countries or cults and colonies and shrines. And not shrines like sister wives and husbands in their own cult and community out of the way. And you've decided, no, I'm not going to shun it. I'm not going to run from it. We're all together. These are all my women and we all love our lives. Hell yeah, you own that then. Because that's your belief system. You're happy. You know love. This is love to you. You look happy. You all look great. Amen. You've tried marriage. It wasn't for you. Next. Yeah? And that's what's beautiful about life. It's the fluidity of it. And it's the ability to see someone else have a very different love life and love language to you and go, that's gorgeous. I still desire long-term commitment, marriage, family. But once again, the fluidity of life, you know? The ethereal ability to still love at any degree is what brings true freedom. Yeah? Degrees of freedom matter. And in relationships, every human being has their own degrees of freedom. And it depends on how you and that other person look in and align to degrees. Yeah? How you fork into each other, how you shard independently, but then fork back into each other. It's fascinating, it's important. It's a defining factor of what is or isn't successful in love. Yeah? And to be able to have that liberation with multiple other or independently on your own comes from not only a lot of self-work and not a really strong communication style as well, the ability to know your love language. I always preach about this, so I'm going to leave this on the outro. You need to know what your love languages are. You need to know what your personality type is. So do a personality type test, do a love language test, and then please go and read an article or something on archetypes. I will put something special for you in the description if you really do desire to know. And head over to Hermitology, because there'll be more stuff coming out there like this, more of a Jungian's perspective. I might do a Jungian section. But what that really means is diving into these archetypes. My archetypes, for example, are spiritual life coach, futurist. Or not even, that was my old ID card. But futurist, you know? Developer, entrepreneur, founder. They're kind of archetypes that are very objective, I would say, even, but they're stable and then there. Every label carries note. It means something, doesn't it? What does a founder mean? What does an entrepreneur mean? What does a futurist mean? And what characteristics do these kind of people have? That's an archetype. It's an overarching scope of an individual at first glance, first word. Yeah? So it's things that we can hold in place. It's a fixture of self, right? In word. It doesn't define me. For my personality type, which is INFJT, very rare, may I add, also talks about me as a person. I'm an advocate, which you probably could tell through the content I produce. Not only that, my love languages are quality time and words of affirmation. You could also probably guess that because I am now spending quality time with you and using my words to affirm our experience. You give off what you want to attract, right? You give off what you want to attract back. So I am now oozing my love language and my archetypes and my personality style with you in the now moment, right? So what are yours? Because that's what you're giving off. And if you know you, then you can really know what you're trying to attract, and you can know other. You can't even know other people if you don't know you, in my opinion. Because if you live with you every day and you've been with you since you've been born, but you don't know you, what on earth makes you think you're going to know another? What makes you think you can love another when you don't even know you yet? But you've given up your life and devoted your time to your kids and your partner, but you don't know you yet? You've got how many kids? And how long have you been in this relationship? But do you know you? Because you still need to know who you are. Because you came here alone with your own blueprint, your own mission. And you may be aligned to your karma. And dharma may be in motion. But we're going to need you to know you so you can know that husband of yours. And then you can know your kids as well. Because that would be nice, wouldn't it? I think that would change the state of humanity if we actually knew who we were first. Before we dived in to all these life choices. Yeah? That's the ego in me, because I get really, really bitter as a hermit. I'm very specific about what I do and don't open up to. And I get really upset when I see children not getting the best lives that they could have. Children not being seen and understood. And when I connect with people who are in relationships where they feel unfulfilled, and it breaks my heart, because I know what it really takes to know you first. And I understand why I choose my approaches in life before diving into dynamics and connections with other. And although I'm on the extreme end of that, I still wish there was a little bit more education out there for everyone so they could be a lot more conscious when diving into all of this. So they weren't just sitting ducks in depression and empty vessels longing for more in their connections and never really making healthy connections with their children or helping children evolve and develop and become who they're destined to be in this lifetime, not being able to see their children's blueprint. That upsets me too. But I'm clairvoyant, you know. Feed the young and they will grow and save the world, you know. And that breaks my heart that so many children out here just need to be seen by their parents, but their parents haven't even stopped to see themselves yet, unfortunately. And their parents probably, mum's trying to please dad, dad potentially pleasing other women or trying to please his work colleagues or trying to please his bank balance, and everyone's forgot that it all starts internally with self-love. Damn it. Feel free to share more in the comments and let me know if this needs to carry on in a part 2, because I missed some things. Let me know. But for now, we're going to leave it there, and I'll be back soon with more. Love and light.